Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It's Thursday. I'm Peter Martin, our guest tonight. Alan Ruff, as ever, alongside me, and delighted that Gordon Smith is here with us. It's all kicking off in Scottish football, and no guesses about what we'll be talking about. Yeah, lots to get our teeth into tonight, some of it unsavoury to say the least, and not a great advert for Scottish football. It was Wednesday night, there was a full card, and one of the games was undoubtedly where a lot of the focus of attention would be. It was the Capital Derby in Edinburgh. Here's what happened in that one and the other matches in the Premiership. This was a game low on quality but filled with controversy. Ollie Lee's shot the highlight for Hearts in a poor first half. Darren McGregor should have scored with a free header for Hibs inside the box. Stevie Mallon hit the bar with a cracking shot, and the same player almost caught out Hearts goalkeepers Lamal from a free kick. Florian Cambelli picked up a second yellow and subsequent red for a challenge on Oliver Bozanic in the second half. Moments later, Hearts goalkeepers Lamal was knocked to the floor by a punch from a fan. Hearts, with a man advantage for 25 minutes, couldn't find a winner. Clevin Dickamona thought he'd scored the only goal, only for it to be ruled offside. That prompted Hibs boss Neil Lennon to tell the Hearts fans behind the dugout to sit down. It also prompted one Hearts fan to throw a coin, which felled the Hibs boss and prompted medical attention for the manager. No goals and a game to forget. Celtic thrashed Dundee at Dens Park with Tom Rogic's spectacular strike setting the champions on their way to a comfortable win after 20 minutes. Scott Sinclair added number 2 just after the half hour from the penalty spot. 5 minutes later, James Forrest ended this contest with Celtic's third. Odsonne Edouard converted James Forrest's cross to make it 4-0 on the stroke of half-time. Ryan Christie scored Celtic's fifth 3 minutes into the second half to cap off an easy 3 points for Celtic. David Turnbull set Motherwell on their way to their first win in 7 games with the opening goal on the half hour. St Mirren have now gone 10 games without a win in the Premiership. Chris Cadden's second after the break moved Motherwell up to 9th in the table. The Dons were able to build on the League Cup semi-final win with a 3-0 victory over Hamilton Accies. Graham Shinnie put them one up after 8 minutes. James Wilson hit a thunderous second from 25 yards to give the Dons a 2-goal lead at half-time. Michael Devlin scored his first goal for Aberdeen against his old club on the hour to secure the 3 points for Derek McInnes' side. One goal settled this match in the visitors' favour after only 5 minutes. Matthew Kennedy converting Tony Watt's cross for the only goal of the game and a St Johnstone 1-0 win. Steven Gerrard's side dropped points at home. Alfredo Morelos scored from a deflection after 9 minutes, but Kilmarnock hit back 6 minutes later to earn a point through Greg Stewart. OK, let's concentrate on Tynecastle, the Edinburgh Derby. It was Hearts against Hibs. I was there. Wasn't a great advert for Scottish football as a spectacle over the 90 minutes. It wasn't great to watch. Not a lot of quality on show. But the incidents in this match certainly have provoked, well, so much comment today, with Neil Lennon at the, at the forefront of it once again. Zdenek Zlamal also punched by a fan, and a linesman also assaulted by a fan. It really is, a stain on Scottish football, Gordon Smith.
It certainly is. I mean, it really, you want to see these games just being the issue is the football side of it. I mean, this was a big game, obviously, because Hearts and Hibs are up close to each other in the league. They're competing this year more than they've been for a while. So you really want this, the whole story today should have been about the match. It turned out to be not a great match, as you said, 0-0. There was an ordering off as well. But these issues are what become the big factor. And as I say, what we maybe need to look at again is the culpable responsibility of football clubs here. I know we don't like to get football clubs involved, but maybe one of the things you need to do is make sure if the clubs are getting punished for the behaviour of their fans, it might mean that other fans who belong to that club will make an issue if they see any people doing things that are actually going to cost their club points or money. So that the fans could be self-policing in that respect if it becomes an issue that the club have to take responsibility?
Well, I think some fans pointed out one individual, which is clearly a good thing. Sometimes it's difficult for fans to point out other individuals because of the intimidation.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt about it, Ruffy. I mean, you could get a situation where games could be played behind closed doors. It's not the first or the last time some kind of crowd trouble has prompted it.
Yeah, and UEFA and FIFA are pretty strong on it. You know, that they come down very, very hard on teams. There's more and more teams playing European football who are getting their ground shut down. Feel sorry for the clubs themselves, because they'll tell you they are doing their utmost to control any game that's at their park, and it's certain individuals who are just spoiling it for everybody else.
What surprised me, Peter, was the fact it was a midweek game, a Wednesday night game, and because I just felt that, you know, being a derby match, you know, in Edinburgh, you know, the two major derbies in Glasgow, the Celtic Rangers, they don't play usually in a Wednesday night for a league match.
Yeah.
And I just wonder why Hibs Hearts wasn't a weekend game, you know, an early kick-off.
I think scheduling in for Ian Blair to try and get as many games in as possible. I've been to midweek Edinburgh derbies. It's not something unusual, to be perfectly honest with you. And in fact, the day of the week should not alter how you conduct yourself in a football match. That's first and foremost what I'd like to point out. I think we've got to get to the crux of the issue now, which is quite simply a manager, for the second time at that ground, was assaulted. A fan ran onto the pitch the last time I was there working at it. This time around, now there's all sorts of debates. I've heard it said he brings it on himself, which is a nonsense. There is no doubt that Neil Lennon agitates people because of his religion, because of his association with Celtic. It may well be his features. You name it. If anybody can pick a fault in him, they are on it. But I don't think anybody would be justified in throwing a coin at an individual. He could take his eye out, could give him severe damage. And the other aspect of this, I think I've got to point out, Ruffy, is Hearts as a club have got a superb chairwoman in Anne Budge, and they also have a great support, you know, and I don't see this as a problem with a lot of the Hearts fans. I think they've got a great support, and I think a lot of them will distance themselves from this idiot.
Yeah, I think Hearts will act swiftly, as they always have done with anything like this. They'll want to identify the culprit. I think they'll throw him out there in front of everybody and say, look, this is what happens. And I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to punish these people so that the other people round about who think they can get away with it will know what the consequences are if you get caught doing this.
Well, the big issue also is the quality of the CC television, because that is a big factor here. A lot of the clubs, I know for a fact, some of the clubs down in England, you know, the cameras they have, you can actually read the number on the seat, and everything's recorded from the footage they have.
Yeah.
So they should be able to look at that and see exactly and pinpoint, if they've got the correct cameras there, pinpoint exactly who it was.
Gordon, never mind CCTV. It was a Category A match on a major broadcaster. They've got about 20 cameras at the match. They should be able to get TV pictures, never mind CCTV.
They should, but a lot of times the pictures are obviously on the match and what's happening. But what you're looking at is the CC television of the clubs goes in the crowd, and that's who they should be looking at, and everybody should be placed, because that could be a season ticket area as well. This could be a season ticket holder. Knowing
the background of television as I do, they record cameras right around. Camera one recorded on a tape. They'll have it. Here's what Neil Lennon had to say after the game.
I think it's pretty obvious. I got hit with a coin on the jaw. It's quite sore now, so I'm very, very angry about it.
What do you make of the treatment that you get here at Tynecastle? That's two incidents that you can recall.
It's disgraceful. So I don't blame the club. You can't legislate for the hatred of some individuals or the badness. What possesses people to throw things on the football pitch, I'll never know. And I believe that Zamal was hit as well. It's just ridiculous. So we do not defend that behaviour from our supporters there. And hopefully both individuals will be singled out. I would like to meet the individual who threw the coin at me someday, because I'm not happy about it at all.
Do you feel you're almost at the point where you might need security in the dugout, or you might need to actually get to the point where you have to sit in the dugout?
No, why should I have to do that? Why can't individuals just behave themselves at a football game? You know, it could have ended up in the crowd, the coin, and hit some kid, or it could have, you know, somebody's had, a few drinks or whatever, and he's angry and it's a heat of the moment thing, and he throws a coin and he could throw it the wrong way. In the end, it was a great shot, but just mindless. The beggar's belief. I'm lost for words at times with people. But he'll be regretful. He'll be like John Wilson. Oh, I'm really sorry. Blah blah blah. Just not good enough. So it could have been me. It could have been Gary. It could have been Grant Murray. It could have been one of my players. Just mindless. All right, I'm not getting stabbed or shot, but it's still pretty severe, I think, in a footballing environment. I'm a manager of a football club. I demand and deserve more respect.
I think it's a very good point. Another point that Neil made there, which I think is worthy of our comment, it hit Neil Lennon. It could have hit a kid if he'd been off target and maybe hit someone in the crowd. Never mind your eye. That could do you brain damage at pace from any given distance.
Yeah, we've already saw it with the linesman. It got hit, it split the back of his head open. And it's a dangerous object to be thrown about. And you're right, it depends where you get hit. There could be a more serious damage. I mean, I'm sure if it hit you in the eye, you could very well lose your eye.
If it is thrown from distance, I mean, what's the chances of actually being that accurate? It's unbelievable that he did actually hit him, because you're right, it could have gone anywhere. It could have hit somebody further down, hit one of the other coaches or anything. But if it was Neil Lennon he was aiming for, and he was at a distance away, it's some throw.
Yeah, not the throw we wanted to see hit the target. There's been a joint statement from Hearts and Hibs today, from Anne Budge and from Leanne Dempster. Here's what the Hearts owner had to say. It's a terrific disappointment. The only thing we can do is retrospective, and that is using the CCTV to identify the individuals and asking our supporters about how this happened last night. Some of them have actually spoken up and pointed out some of the perpetrators. The majority of supporters don't want these things to happen, and we need to encourage them to help us identify the individuals who are doing it. We don't want people who do that sort of thing involved in football. It brings the whole game into disrepute, and a lot of us are working very, very hard to try and improve the situation at football and make it an experience that families can enjoy. We really have to do everything we can to ensure this doesn't happen. As far as Leanne Dempster is concerned, she also released a statement on behalf of Hibernian. Irrespective of what a manager does trackside, he does not deserve to be hit by an object. And if others or the league deem any manager's antics to go beyond the realms of what is acceptable, then that will be dealt with. But remember, we are in the entertainment business here as well. I'm sorry, I do not support anyone who says the manager having an interaction with supporters in that manner deserves to be hit by an object. I think you have to look at the circumstances. Neil said last night, we know what the interaction is like, and when he goes there, he's human like everyone else. The clubs do not have the power to make football banning orders in Scotland. That's not an issue for us, but what we can do is stop supporters visiting our grounds, and that's exactly what we'll do. Now, I like what Leanne Dempster has to say there, Ruffy, because quite simply, you do get banter, but let me tell you, the abuse he gets, and I know, I've spoken to his agent today, he gets sectarian abuse every day of his life. I was with him on Friday before this game, and I said I would see him on Wednesday night up at Tynecastle. He gets abuse everywhere from all quarters, and quite a bit of it is religiously motivated.
Yeah, I don't know if this one was, at Hearts. I mean, I wouldn't know why the chap threw the coin at him. Obviously, it doesn't matter to me what he does at the side of the touchline. If you have a mind that you're a person who wants to throw something at somebody, you're the one with the problem. We've all been in the game long enough. We've all listened to supporters banter going back and forward, and it's good having that kind of banter. But if somebody's winding you up and you think you've been wound up, if you're the person that commits the violence, you're the one with the problem.
There's an SPFL statement come out as well, and here's the basis of that release. The Edinburgh Derby is rightly regarded as one of the most passionate and exciting fixtures in the Scottish football calendar. But a number of incidents last night are not acceptable. We await the contents of the SPFL match delegate report and will work closely with both clubs and Police Scotland to identify those involved. No surprise, PFA Scotland Chief Executive Fraser Wishart has come out also to condemn the behaviour. It's like Groundhog Day, as it seems we are continually having to discuss and address issues like this happening at football grounds across the country. After last night's incidents at Tynecastle, we stress again that any form of verbal abuse, violence or the throwing of objects at players and managers needs to be taken seriously, and we trust that the authorities will take the appropriate action to ensure that this dangerous practice is stopped. The football pitch is a player's place of work, and it is not unreasonable for a player, like any other employee, to be able to work with the knowledge that their workplace is indeed a safe environment, free from violence and discrimination, and that their health and safety is not at risk. Any form of abuse, verbal or physical, is wholly unacceptable, and it is of paramount importance that something is done before someone is seriously hurt or maimed. So, with that in mind, I think the key thing is to try and catch the perpetrator of the coin throwing incident. The gentleman who punched the player as well. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, Gordon.
No, I've never known that to happen either. Like a goalkeeper just going to the side behind the goals to get the ball and all that and being punched, sort of thing. But it was just obviously the atmosphere that was coming from the game. Very heated atmosphere between the two sides, you know, and as I say, it's something we have to deal with, and it's something, the main thing is these people have to be punished and put out of the game, banned for life for ever being at a football match again. The
unfortunate thing is they're no real supporters, they're just thugs, you know, and it's the thugs that are bringing everybody who goes along to a football game to see a good game of football, enjoy themselves and go home. These are the ones that are spoiling it. That's why they're the ones that have to get caught, and they're the ones who have to be punished.
Yeah, I think Craig Levein also nailed it last night by mentioning the fact, listen, go to the game, get excited, yeah, by all means shout, you can have that bit of rivalry, as long as it doesn't become abusive or indeed negative towards individuals, especially physically. Here's Craig Levein.
Bobby says that somebody struck him, and Neil's looks like he's been hit by a coin, and it just saddens me really. You know, of course, both sets of players are doing well at this minute in time. Both teams are doing well. They don't want to get beat. Tensions are high. Aggression's evident throughout the match on the field. But there's no place for things like that. And, you can sing and shout and swear all you like, and but I got frightened when I saw Lenny on the ground, you know, and I don't care who's. I hope they catch whoever it was that threw it, and it doesn't matter what team they support. They need to be dealt with.
Yeah, here on that statement, they need to be dealt with. I think Craig Levein genuinely looked over it, and he was worried at that point when he saw Neil Lennon lying on the ground, Ruffy. Managers have, a respect for each other. They also understand the difficulties of trying to get success at your club. You know, they too have a good bit of banter. And occasionally they noise each other up, but there is a line.
Yeah, there is a line, and Craig Levein would have not have known that there was a coin thrown. All he would have seen was Neil Lennon on the deck, and in light of what happened the last time it was at Tynecastle, you would have thought that was something a lot more serious had happened, and he dealt with it in the right manner, going over and making sure everything was okay. But that's what Hearts have been like. You know, they've been very focused, and they don't want their name to be brought down in any way.
Okay, let's deal just at the tail end of the programme with the games and actually the implications of the results. Let me also tell you that if you want to give us your thoughts on it on our YouTube channel, or indeed facebook.com/PLZ Soccer, or at PLZ Soccer on Twitter, you can. I'm sure it will rumble on towards the weekend. As far as the games are concerned, Celtic 5-0, emphatic, closed the gap on Hearts to 4 points with that win against Dundee.
Big win. I mean, it was Celtic obviously had the big win at the weekend in the Cup, and they could be just getting a little bit of a revival going now, and begin to pick up on it. But I mean, Dundee are having a bad time anyway, sort of thing, the bottom of the league. But that is a big victory for Celtic, especially with Hearts dropping points.
Yep. Again, I'm looking at the other results. One of them, I did suggest to you, I thought Kilmarnock were capable of going to Ibrox and getting a point, Ruffy. It turned out 1-1 in the end. Not what Steven Gerrard was looking for as the reaction from the League Cup semi-final defeat. Yeah,
he was looking for a reaction. I definitely thought they would have got a reaction. I thought the players in front of the home support, obviously with the strikers back on show, would have been good enough to get a win, but they got a good start, although it was deflected. But after that, as soon as they lost the goal, that sort of a shell-like that used to happen to Rangers players at home, they all seem to go into it, oh no, here we go again with the big support that's there, and a lot of them didn't handle the occasion, and I think that will be a big worry for Steven Gerrard.
Stevie Clark's got a good record against Rangers though. I think he's 4 games.
And Celtic.
Yeah,
a win against each of them and a draw against each
exactly.
of them.
4 games, I think, in the league with Rangers. The only one he's lost was a cup match when they lost at home to Rangers, but in the league I think there's 2 wins and 2 draws over the 4 games that he's played against them, so he's going well. But Rangers, I mean, that's 3 competitions in the last week they played in, and they haven't won in any of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, you know, there is a dip, and you can tell by Steven Gerrard's comments now, he's beginning to question his team. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah, it's the first time actually I think the media are now starting to question Steven Gerrard. Now the other thing about it, 15 minutes into a game is not common for someone to release their financial figures, Gordon Smith, but that's what Rangers did last night. £14.3 million losses.
Yeah, I think it was a certainty it was going to be a loss because Rangers don't have the income from other sources that in order to make that. And if they're going to go out, if they've been out and putting out money for players, doing different things for new contracts and stuff like that, it was bound to be a loss. I don't think I wasn't surprised about the amount. Maybe it's a little bit more than I thought it would be, but I wasn't surprised they were going to issue a loss.
Do you think it's worrying?
I think a little bit worrying, but it depends where the money is coming from, who the backers are in terms of covering that, and whether it's sustainable. You know what I mean? They're going to make some money, obviously, from the Europa League this year, but they're not getting any money from sale of players, big transfer fees in, or Champions League money, which Celtic have managed to do in previous seasons. So it just depends the backing he's got. There is a little bit of a worry, especially the fact is that with that kind of spend, and he's also saying he wants backing from the board if he has to go and get more players in January, because he's already questioning the quality of the players he's got there.
Yeah, which he signed.
Yeah.
And the other aspect of this, Ruffy, I think Rangers were calling on Mike Ashley for a bit of transparency in the deal which he has with Rangers with regards to the shirts. So if Rangers are calling on that transparency, should Rangers be more transparent, and Dave King in particular, about what money's coming in and what money's going to come in to allay the fears with these huge losses?
Yeah, I think a lot of the Rangers supporters I was speaking to thought the Sports Direct deal had been sorted. You know, I just thinking of Dave King put a statement out to say negotiations were very favourable in Rangers' behalf, and I've done a deal, and then all of a sudden we're back in court again. So again, the Rangers supporters were saying, well, what are you not telling us? What are you keeping hidden here? Because this is the problem we got into the last time, not being transparent. So I thought there was going to be a share issue as well, and that's all went quiet as well. I don't know, maybe you know more than me than that, but that's what they were heading towards, you know, asking the supporters to take another issue, and it's just disappeared as well.
Okay, give us your thoughts on that if you're a Rangers fan. Just before we go, I must mention Motherwell, they've ended a run of 6 games without a win. St Mirren, 10 games without a win in the Premiership.
Yep.
It's not looking good for the Saints, but Motherwell got a confidence boost.
Yeah, it was a big win for them. Interesting, you know, the Saints, St Mirren, you know, they talk about bringing in Jimmy Nicholl now. They already brought in Gus McPherson. I was wondering why they weren't using him. The interesting thing, I didn't see the matches last night. The interesting thing for me was the fact there was 37 bookings last night in 6 games. That's a lot of bookings, isn't it? 6, averaging 6 per game. The only team that never had empty book was Aberdeen, funnily enough, maybe because they were cruising, but there was a lot of players booked, 3 sent off as well, so it was quite an aggressive night, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. All those yellow cards, red cards, a coin thrown, a punch thrown. It's just another day in Scottish football. Thanks very much to Alan Ruff and Gordon Smith. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll get Monday to Friday, the football show every night. Thanks for watching.